Hello, everybody. How are you?
Doing
Good
fine, thank you. How are
afternoon.
you?
Doing well, thank you. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning to everybody who's currently tuned in right now. We have people watching and listening from all over the world. So if it's morning where you are, good morning. If it's evening, if it's afternoon, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome, everybody, to another beautiful episode of the Morale Booster with Dr. John Ughulu. And for those of you who are just joining us for the very first time, let's see. I want you to know that you are here on purpose because nothing happens by accident, right? You have the gift of life. That's why you can hear me. You have the gift of life. That's why you can see me. So every day above ground is a blessed day. So welcome to another episode of the Morale Booster with Dr. John Ughulu. My name is Dr. John Ughulu. The Morale Booster is a platform for entrepreneurs, career professionals, leaders, and the general public to give back to the society through coaching and mentoring. I always like to remind people that experience is the best teacher. And that's why we do our very best to bring in the best of the best, right? All right. So, this program is currently being sponsored by Main Seed Consulting Group. And our new sponsor is New Gigs, newgigs.com. As you can see, I'm wearing the hat. I have the logo here, newgeeks.com, right? So if you can hear me, I want you to please type I can hear you in the comment section. I know we're streaming live on Twitter, we're streaming on Facebook, we're streaming on YouTube, and we are on podcast on iHeartRadio, on over 20 platforms at the same time. Isn't that wonderful? Thank God for technology. So I really do appreciate all of you for joining this broadcast. And today I have a very experienced guest, and his name is Eric Hoffner. He's based in Georgia. Now, Eric has been in the mortgage business for 25 years. Most of that time was at Chase Bank. He started as a loan originator, then a producing sales manager, then gave up his production to manage Georgia. He applied for the senior position 3 times, only to be disappointed. That's life. And after more than 20 years at Chase, he left to take a job at Iberia Bank to manage 4 states. And after 7 short months, he was laid off due to a merger. He immediately opened his own business and went back into production for the first time after 8 years. He has been self employed now for just over 4 years, and he says that's one of the best decisions he ever made. Now, Eric is divorced, and lives with his girlfriend, Becky, and her 17-year-old daughter, Neely. Eric has a son named Sean, and Sean is about to finish his freshman at Alabama, soon to transfer to Georgia. His daughter Sabrina is finishing her third year at UGA, and she's currently studying to be a PA. Now, Eric says he works every day. That's the life of a man. That's the life of an entrepreneur. He works every day. And in his spare time, some of his favorite things to do are to travel, listen to live music, and attend concerts and festivals and saltwater fishing. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, I want you all to join me as I bring to the stage this wonderful man, this man who has been through life, who has experienced life and was able to get back on his feet. No other person but Eric Hoffner. Thank you so much, sir,
Thank
for
you, Dr.
joining
John.
us. You're welcome. You're welcome. Well, welcome. Now, you see, your story, I know for sure, would resonate with so many people who are currently listening to us right now. Because, you know, when the pandemic hit us, a lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people had life plans destroyed. And you have been through that issue of job loss. Can you please share with us how did it feel the moment you knew that, after putting so much time, energy and effort into something you love, at the end of the day you were let go?
Well, I'll start with my experience at Chase because I was at Chase for more than 20 years and I loved the company. I felt like I was married to the company. I did so many things, went out of my way, worked weekends, worked nights, traveled, stayed away from my family, only to find out that corporations don't have feelings. Management changes. What have you done for me lately? Um, I was there for a long time. I thought I would die at Chase. And over time, the culture changed, the people changed, and I clearly hit a ceiling that I just was not going to move up any further in the company. And it took everything I got, but I finally made the decision to take on another job. A really good job came along, something I couldn't pass up, but it was a very, very hard thing to do. And when I went to Iberia Bank, uh, I had some success almost immediately, and it taught me that change is good.
Right.
And I felt like I was growing because it was different, and they were allowing me to use more of my talents. But in the banking world, unfortunately, they do go through mergers, and we found out very quickly that we were no longer in charge. That the bank
Wow.
that we merged with was making all the decisions, and I was the last one in, so I was the first one out. And
Wow.
again, it was a very scary moment, but I was already used to the change. I had already had a significant change early on. Um, and I always dreamt of opening up my own business. But when you have income coming in the door, it's hard to go from 60 to zero.
Right.
But when you don't have a job, it's easy to go from zero to zero.
And you are absolutely correct about that, and it goes pretty fast, like pretty quick, pretty quick. Someone once said, once you get fired, you are only one paycheck away from poverty. And I completely agree with you on that. Thank you so much for sharing. Now, I just tagged you on the broadcast. Can you please check to see if you got a notification on Facebook to accept it, so that your contacts, your friends can see what we're doing right now. And to everybody who's currently listening, this is the Morale Booster. Please remember to like and share this broadcast. I always insist on doing that because you might just be saving the life of that one person who has been waiting for a lifetime to hear this message. People are going through things right now. People are going through tough times. People are going through a lot of depression, anxiety, and this program is all about helping people boost their morale. So please help us, like and share the broadcast. Like and
Yeah,
share.
I
We're
think
not
we're streaming
asking you
live.
for money. Okay, have you accepted it?
Hmm.
Okay, great. So like and share this broadcast. All right, thank you so much. So now let's go to the next question I have for you. you know Entrepreneurship is not easy, right? um my communication mentor, Mr. Les Brown, would say, if you do what is easy, your life will be hard. But if you do what is hard, your life will be easy. Entrepreneurship is hard. It is easy to give up. It is easy to blame other people for our misfortunes, right? So how was the transition to entrepreneurship for you? Because it was not something you had experience with prior to uh, you starting your own business, but you knew you would do it one day. So how was it? How was that transition?
Yeah. So, I say something similar. Nothing worthwhile is easy. And if
Great.
it was easy, everybody would do it. If
Yes.
it was easy, everybody would make money. And as a manager, one of my jobs was to recruit, develop, and train people. And everybody said they wanted to do big things. Everybody said they wanted to make a lot of money. But what they don't realize is what it's necessary to do in order to make money, to do all the things that nobody wants to do so they can have all the things that nobody can
Nobody.
have.
Right.
And,
Right.
my story starts when I was a kid. I don't want to say I was poor, but I was not fortunate or blessed or affluent. And if I wanted something, I had to work for it. It started when I was a teenager. And my parents didn't have money to buy clothes and shoes. So I wanted it. I had to do it myself. And I learned that hunger that you need to have. Um, and I had plenty of success in my lifetime. And when I opened my own business, I had to be willing to give up some of those things that a lot of people find so dear, the dinners, the vacations. You have to scale back, um, and but I was willing to do it. I think that the transition was difficult, but I had saved some money over time, and I got some advice from some very close friends of mine that said there's no doubt in my mind that you'll be successful. The question is, do you have the staying power until you make it? You're going to
Right.
make it, but will you go broke before you make it?
Wow. 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 That was powerful. And you talked about cutting down on so many things. And I hope there's someone out there right now who heard that, because when it comes to entrepreneurship, it's not like, when you're starting your own business, it's not like, you know the easy part where you wait for the end of the week or the end of 2 weeks or the end of the month to get a paycheck for a job you did, or sometimes you could even cut hours or make some excuses and still get paid for the job. This is your business where you put in the work. The amount of work you put in determines how much you get, right? And and a lot of people don't understand that part of cutting down. So, it could also affect a family, right? If the partner is not on that same boat.
I
Did
agree.
you experience all that?
Well, I think the I think there's a possibility that I would have been self-employed a lot sooner, um, if I had the support of a partner. Um, it was difficult because when you're making money, you're making a good amount of money, and you want to stop, and knowing that it could take you several months to ramp up. But I agree that it takes a good partner. I think it takes a good partner in any relationship to be successful. And what I learned is when you have a good partner, it frees up your mind, and it allows you to operate at a very high level
Right.
where you can make decisions. Um, and I have a good partner now, and it's great.
That's great. Thank you so much for sharing that. All right. So, this takes me to the next question. So, knowing what you know now, what would you have done differently?
The number one that sticks out is I wish I had started sooner.
Okay.
Um, because well, I'm in the mortgage business, and I gave up my production and my database, and when the refi boom hit, I'd only been originating for like a couple of years. Where if I still had my database from before, I could only imagine how much production I would have done. Besides that, I don't know that I would have done anything differently. um, I started small. I didn't take on any real estate. I didn't take on any unnecessary expenses. I started with the bare minimum, and then I had a couple of years, and I invested in my website and some branding, and spruced everything up to make everything look like I was a much larger, more
Right.
productive, successful company.
Right.
And then 12 months later, I had another good year. I took some money and invested it into marketing. Um, And then this year we were investing into some video and television production, and potentially some leads. So I made sure that I kept my expenses low, because I had to pay the bills and I had
Right.
to increase the likelihood of being successful.
Right.
And then as we had some successes, we started taking some chips off the table.
Right, 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 right. That's great. That's great. Thank you so much for sharing. Now, there's so many people who have it at the back of their minds that they would be employed till they get to retirement age. What do you say? I tell people that there's no such thing as job security anymore. So, what's your take on that?
Um, well, I'm encouraging both of my children to be entrepreneurs. We've talked about it for a long time. The truth is, owning your own business is not for everybody.
Right,
And I don't want to sell anybody short, but you have to wear all hats. You have to be good at everything. You have to be prepared to work at night and on the weekends. If your employees don't show up, well, guess what? You got to do the work.
right,
Um, and it takes not only, um, I try to teach when I go to recruit people. I look for two things. I look for the capacity to learn, because not everyone has the capacity to learn, to retain information,
right.
and work ethic. Because I can't teach work ethic.
True,
And I tell them, listen, if you can make only every mistake once, you can be very, very successful. We
true,
all make mistakes, but if you can learn from that mistake and move on. um, I think it's very difficult today to make real money without being self-employed.
true.
And corporations are changing, and they're ruthless. They only care about the shareholders, and your manager only cares about his job preservation. And if you're recognized as talent, now you're a threat. Um, and I would encourage young people to start businesses early on, before they have a mortgage, before they have children, before they have responsibilities, while their bills are small. And those doesn't even matter what kind of business it is. If, our world is a big place, and there's a lot of money out there, and the pie is big, and all you need is your sliver of the pie.
Right,
Just do it better, faster, less expensive than everybody else, and you will earn your share of the business.
true.
And there's enough to go around. The joke about the two guys at the campfire, right? And they hear a bear, and one guy starts putting on his sneakers, and the guy's like, "What do you think? You're going to outrun the bear?" And he goes, I just got to outrun you." Right? So you just got to outrun your competition, and you will do very well.
True, true. That makes a whole lot of sense, and I agree with you on that. And thank you so much for sharing that. Those are powerful words too, words of encouragement. So everyone out there, please remember, like and share this broadcast. Thank you so much. There's somebody out there who needs to hear this. Now let's talk about your business. You are in the business of loans, mortgage, right? And your business is Strong Box Home Loan. So first of all, how did you come up with that name, Strong Box?
Yeah. Yeah.
Strongbox. For those of you listening via podcast, we know you cannot see the screen. It's Strong Box. Strongbox. It's one word. Strong Box Home Loan. So how did you come about that name?
Well, I felt like branding was important, and I wanted to separate myself. I
Yes.
wanted a brand that was not a regional brand or a
Right.
local brand. I
Right.
wanted that if I was blessed enough one day to have a national brand, that it could be a national brand. I don't want to
Right.
be Peachtree Mortgage or,
Right.
Alpharetta Mortgage. I wanted to have a brand that had the potential of growing.
Right.
Um, I brainstorm. I came up with, try to put together words, like I tried to create my own copyrighted word, and you'd be shocked at, at even though I was taking two pieces of words and making a word
All
that was
taken,
not a real word,
not available.
still taken, and I started brainstorming, and I was taught that when you brainstorm, like like don't censor yourself. Just write it down, write it down, write it down. And I had 100 different names. Um, and I would ask my friends if they liked them, and I couldn't get a consensus. Nobody liked anything I was doing, or everybody liked something different.
Right.
And then I started to think about certain things, and I was thinking about um, antique things or something in the past. So maybe a word that they use in England that's a different word than we use, but it has the same meaning. So it'd be unique, or a word they used in past in the history. And I used to be a big, cowboy and Indians fan,
Okay.
and I like pirates. And where do they keep their money? But they kept their money in a safe, and that safe back then was called a strong box.
Right.
So a strong box is what the pirates kept their gold and jewelry in, that had a
The
little
treasure.
lock,
Right. Yeah.
right? Their treasured chest.
Yeah.
And in the old cowboy days, when they moved money from place to place, they moved it in a strong box.
Right. 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 That was a great one. It's always challenging when you're looking for business names. I help people start businesses, so I always tell them, look, don't think you can just wake up today and have your business registered today. No, it doesn't work. Trust me. There are people who are paid just to think. So you see that business name you've been dreaming of? Trust me, it's not available. You need to put in the work.
And I did, and I'm very happy with it. And I was happy with what I could do with it, and I had it in my mind that when I go to a convention, I bring an antique safe, or I put
Right.
images of it on my website,
Right.
um, and then someday it'll be a household name.
Right, right. It will be a household name because it's a great name. It's a name that has a story attached to it. So yes, there is a vision to the name, and it will certainly become a household name. So, Strongbox Home Loan. So tell us exactly what you do.
So basically, I'm in the mortgage business. I don't know why
Right,
this is going off. I'm in the mortgage business, and it's pretty self-explanatory. Any piece of real estate where you need a loan is a mortgage.
right,
Um, and I joke around and I say our business is the easiest business in the world, but also the hardest business in the world at the same time. When it's going smooth, the customer doesn't know any different, and it's great, but it can go sideways in a minute. And that's where knowledge and experience and how many units you've done over your lifetime helps, where I know all the cracks and crevices of the guidelines. And oftentimes I can, for lack of a better term, argue with an underwriter and explain why they've got it wrong and politely ask them to escalate. So I just feel like we get more deals done, and we've made a
right.
living at saving loans where other people have failed. Um, but basically, we do mortgages on any residential piece of real estate. So anything from 1 to 4 units on conventional to 100 units on apartment complexes. We don't have any overlays. So basically, in the mortgage business, prior to Dodd-Frank, you were allowed to underwrite your own loan and sell it with no consequence. It's one of the things that contributed to the mortgage crisis.
Hmm.
And then when Dodd-Frank came through, if you underwrite your own loan, you have to take a certain amount of responsibility if it defaults. So as a result, people that underwrite their loans sometimes put guidelines on top of guidelines. They don't push it as hard. They're more conservative. A lot of banks do that, large mortgage companies. And as a broker, we have no overlays. So it makes our loans just a little bit easier to get approved. At the bottom line, the value it provides to the customer or the realtor or the builder is we get more deals done, because there's going to be a small percentage that get declined somewhere else where they come to us.
Wow, that's great. And you play a major role in the lives of a lot of people because everyone at some point need you. So you are valuable. So and like you rightly said, you have a lot of experience in that area. And do you only work with clients in Georgia?
Georgia and Florida.
Georgia and Florida. Okay, great. And how can people contact you?
Well, you can find me on the internet, strongboxhomeloans.com, at Strongbox Home Loans, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. And then you can find me at Eric Hoffner, at Eric Hoffner, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, um, or my website. Um,
Okay,
but but if I could just share one more thing on what makes us different, other than
right,
the overlays, and a lot of people don't know about this, especially self-employed people. A lot of self-employed people have a good CPA, like
right,
you, like me, and as a
right.
result, we do our best to reduce our taxable income. And that's great in every situation except for one, when you're trying to qualify for a mortgage. And we have no doc, we have stated income. We can qualify people based on their revenue alone. They don't have to have a job, they just have to have good credit and good assets. And we can handle investors, professional investors that don't have a traditional job. They literally buy and sell homes for a living. We have special loans for those folks also. We have hard money up to $12 million a unit. That includes residential and commercial. And we can do construction to perm loans.
Oh, okay, that's great. That's great. Now you talked to yeah, you really hit the nail on the head. I have questions for you regarding investors because I know I have a lot of investors, listening to our program. So, do you only work with seasoned investors?
No, so the kind of loans that we do have no, um, uh, there's no resume. I can close an investor's first unit. And there's a program out there that is very, very good. You have to have a down payment. You have to have at least decent credit. And then you don't have to have a job. You don't have to have income. You put a contract in a house, you get an appraisal. And as part of that appraisal, we do a rental analysis.
Okay.
And if the long term market rent covers the mortgage, you're approved.
Okay, okay, great, great. So, for those of you who are currently listening to us, the podcast, those of you on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, um, visit his website. It's Strongbox Home Loans, loans plural with an S at the end. It's one word. Strong, StrongBoxHomeLoans.com. Strongboxhomeloans.com. And he'll be able to guide you in the right direction. So if you reside in Georgia and Florida, yes, they should be able to help you. For those of you who are investors who are looking to explore new, make some new relationships, this is a great man. He's somebody I would want you to reach out to. And there is a business networking event that we are organizing. It will be on the 25th of May. If you would have the time, the opportunity, or the chance, I would want you to, stop by and come and meet with some of the entrepreneurs who might, who would be interested in working with you. Everyone needs a home loan for sure, So, yeah, so I'll send you the invitation personally after this broadcast. All right. So thank you so much for letting us know. And you talked about credit, good credit, at least good credit. What do you consider as good credit for someone to, first of all, consider reaching out to you?
Yeah. So we don't necessarily have a minimum credit score, um, but that's unusual about a broker compared to a lot of lenders. Um, your credit will determine your interest rate.
All right,
So your credit score may determine whether or not you get approved.
right,
One of the things that we provide as a free service is to have your credit rescored.
okay,
We have an algorithm and a piece of software that it will tell us what you need to do to get your credit scores up. And if you follow that action plan, we can have your credit scores rescored within 4 business days that our lenders will use to price and approve your loan right away. Good credit, I would consider good credit above 720. Um, The best credit primarily in our business is 760. You can have 780, you can have 800, but it may not improve your interest rate. If you have greater than 680, I would say that's the low side of good, but still good. And quite frankly, we can get your loan approved easily down to 620.
Okay.
Below that is case by case, but we have the ability to get people approved in the 500s, but it's increasingly more difficult.
Right.
The file has to be strong in other areas: assets, income, job stability.
Okay. Great. Now, there is a major challenge for entrepreneurs, right, when it comes to securing home loans. Do you have any programs for entrepreneurs?
Yeah, so we talked about. So we have a program that qualifies you based on revenue, not profit.
Okay.
So if you've been self-employed for 2 years or more,
Mm-hmm.
we look at your last 12 months revenue. Assuming that you own 100% of the business, we'll give you credit for 50% of your revenue as qualifying income.
Okay.
Now, today's rates are higher than a lot of people think. Right now, we're in the low fives for the best people, the people with the best income and the best credit. And for these bank statement programs, they're in essence a no income verification loan. So as a result, the rates are higher. They start in the sixes
Right.
and they can easily go into the sevens depending on your down payment and your credit score.
Right. 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 Okay. That's great. So for those of you who are listening, look, I want you to please reach out to Eric. Go follow him on Facebook, um, Instagram, and Twitter. Go follow him right now and discuss with him. Have a word with him. Information and knowledge is power, right? Don't let what people tell you discourage you from making a move. Sometimes people who have no knowledge are the ones who will tell you that it's not possible for you to achieve your goals. But when you have the experts right in front of you, come on, you've got no excuse right now. Okay, so go right now and follow Eric. His handle on Instagram is Eric Hoffner. I'll spell it for those of you who are on podcast. It's ERICHOFFNER. HOF as in France, F as in Frank. All right, double F, NER. Eric, ERICHO as in France, N as in Nancy, ER. Eric Hoffner. Follow him on Twitter, follow him on Instagram, and you can also search for his business on those same platforms. Strong Box Home Loans. All right. And reach out to him. He'll be more than happy to respond to your inquiries. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Eric. It's been a pleasure, learning from you, you know, getting so much knowledge and wisdom from you. And I hope when next I call you, you would be willing to come on this
No,
program
I
to
would
just
like
share
that.
some
Yes.
some wealth of knowledge. All right. So before we go, I just want to take 1 minute of your time. Can you please encourage that man or that woman who has currently lost their jobs and are confused at the moment and do not even know where to start from? Just 1 minute, please.
Yeah, I think where I want to start is while you have a job, live below your means, save your money, prepare for that rainy day, 6 months worth of living expenses in case you're injured or you lose your job. And that way, if you do lose your job, you have the confidence and you have the wherewithal to think straight and think clearly in order to make your next move and to give you the luxury of starting a business if you so choose.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. And for people who want to get into the home loan business, do you have a program? Do you do any form of mentorship or
Um,
coaching
yeah,
for?
getting started in the mortgage business is not an easy task.
Right.
It's there's a lot of information. There's not really a college of mortgage. There is training. It's very expensive. Banks, large mortgage companies will provide you a decent amount of training. You don't make a lot of money in the beginning, and like a lot of very productive types of businesses, it sometimes takes a little while. But it's been the most rewarding career, and I've had the luxury of spending time with my children when they were young and going to every school event. And when we worked, when it was time to work, we worked, and when we had the ability to play, we played. The type of people that I'm looking for are people that are in the business for at least a year or two. That's just so I don't have to teach them the terminology and teach them
Right.
what title is and private mortgage insurance. I can
Right.
help them sell. I can teach them how to be a loan officer, but you have to have the
The
beginning portion
background.
of it.
Right.
I
Right.
don't have the patience to teach people terminology.
Right.
I want to teach them high level how to go get business, how to make their customers happy, how to structure a loan. So I'm looking for 1 or 2 year people. I'm looking for happy, positive people that want to work in a team environment, kind people, and people that want to work hard. And if they're willing to work hard and they have the capacity to learn, then those are the type of people that I'd really like to have.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. And that's it. Keep shining your light, because you've been blessed with a gift, and I'm happy you're willing to share that gift. You're willing to use that gift to develop other people. So thank you so much. And please, everybody, remember, like and share this broadcast. Even if this message doesn't resonate with you, there's somebody you know whom it will resonate with. All right, that's how it is. We're not asking you to pay us any money. Just do this for the sake of humanity. Like and share. All right, thank you everybody for a wonderful. It was a wonderful session. I learned so much, and I know so many other people have been impacted one way or the other. So until next time, everybody, I want you all to remember that today is the first day of the rest of your life. Thank you so much, Eric.
Thank
Have a
you.
wonderful day. Yeah. Bye.